Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Was expecting one or two other people, but you know what? Let's just get started. This will be kind of short. I ran this one earlier this afternoon. It went for about 30 minutes or so, so hopefully I won't keep you guys too long. All right, let's talk about what we need to do to prepare our online courses for the new semester. So after we've done the course copy, what do we need to do next? And at a minimum, OTC wants us to have about 5 of these things ready and in our course when students get there. And I'm going to go through each one of these, and then I'm going to go through some other things as well. But these are the ones that the administration says, we want you guys to have this in the course, ready to go when the course opens. And I think our courses open like, 3 or 4 days early before the semester starts. So these are things we need to be thinking about now before the courses open. So the first one, a completed course syllabus. We'll talk about this in a little bit more detail. Your course schedule, instructor information on the faculty page, a welcome announcement, and your first lesson. So let's just jump right in and talk about the syllabus first. The syllabus really defines your expectations, your student expectations, and course policies. It's really kind of a roadmap for your course. You can download the most current version. We've got it out there on our OTC Online website, the one for spring 2015. We've tweaked it just a little bit, tried to shorten it up for you guys, and so it's out there posted if you want to download it and then personalize it with your own policies. Now, there are 3 sections to the syllabus. The first 2 sections are areas that you can make changes in. The last section is the college policies and procedures. That can't be changed, but the grievance procedures, there's a little section on grievance, you'll need to go in there and include your departmental information, like your department chair's contact information and the dean contact information. So the syllabus, important part of your course, because what it does is it really sets those guidelines for your students, gives them an idea about what to expect in the course, as well as all the objectives and all that kind of good stuff, textbook and all that. So just know that you can make some changes to the first 2 sections, but the college policies you can't, except for the grievance area. Any questions on the syllabus? Pretty cut and dry. As long as you've got the template, it's pretty easy to go through. So, all right. The next thing they want us to take a look or to have in our course and ready to go when the semester starts is the course schedule. This is just your list of assignments and due dates for the semester. You know, and a lot of times, especially if we copy a course, we're pretty much okay because our assignments really don't change a whole lot. But for those people who are creating a course schedule from scratch or just now launching a new course, this part of it, the schedule part of it, may be a little bit more difficult to do. So hopefully the course is all planned out. You've got your assignments ready. I'm going to put those due dates in there. If you're reusing a schedule from a previous semester, be sure to update all the due dates and whatever else that you have in your class schedule. We have some instructors who will copy their lesson checklists and place them in a Word document. So they pull out all those checklists from the lesson and just paste them into the Word document. You can do that, or you can just create a table for that. But there needs to be a course schedule in there. And there's a particular reason why they want that in there. Why do you think a course schedule is important? And I'll let you guys tell me. I could tell you, but I'd rather hear from you. Why do you think a course schedule is important for your students? Any ideas?
Well, it seems obvious that they need to know when everything is due, and I encourage them to plan out their whole schedule for the entire semester. So that's why I do it. So it's not just what's going to happen, or I didn't know that was coming, or whatever. It prepares them so they can look at the whole semester.
Exactly.
Is there other reasons too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For me, it's just our students. You know, they're busy, so we have single moms, we've got non-traditional students who work. We've got a whole different variety of diversity of students in our classrooms. And for me, it helps them with time management. They're more successful when they can see those due dates for assignments and things like that. They can better plan out their time, especially if they have 2 or 3 online courses or more. It really does help them with their time management. So yeah, you got it. That's exactly what it's for. All right, well, here's an example. It's kind of hard to see an example of his course schedule. I think most of us already put one in there. On this particular one, the instructor put in points possible. That's not really, I mean, if you want to put that in there, that's fine. We're more interested, and the administration is interested in having, you know, the assignments and the due dates in there, so so the students can do their planning. So, okay, all right. The next thing that we want to talk about is your first line of communication with your students, the welcome announcement. Well, some of us will send out an email before the course starts, which is awesome. I always encourage sending out an email, letting students know, hey, hello, your class is going to be starting soon and all that. But inside Blackboard, inside your course, your very first communication with them will be the welcome announcement. So it's one of the more important things that need to be done before the semester starts. Let's make it warm and welcoming. I've seen some welcome announcements that are just like, no, you didn't really say that. You want to welcome students to the course, kind of describe what they'll be learning during the semester, maybe 1 or 2 sentences saying in this course we will explore, I don't know, different business principles, blah, 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 or, you know, we'll be looking at astronomy or whatever the case may be, whatever the content area you're teaching. Just a couple of sentences, just kind of tell them, hey, this is what you're learning this semester. And then, of course, direct them to the syllabus and to the first lesson, and then include your contact information. Now, you could put your email address in there if you want to, right inside the announcement, or you could link it to the faculty page, do a course link and link it to the faculty page. So at a very minimum, your welcome announcement should, you know, just kind of tell them what the course is, direct them where they need to go. I always tell them to navigate through the course, click on the buttons, you know, and take a look around so they kind of get a good feel for what the course is like. And then if they have questions, then they know how to contact you. It's really easy. It's right there and ready to go. So one of the other things that they highly encourage all instructors to do is to create a welcome video. And I think a lot of us do. Have you guys created a welcome video for your courses yet? Just curious.
Yes.
Cool. Good. Yeah, if you haven't done it, they're pretty easy to do. I just use a screen casting type, you know, program and do it, or you can use Camtasia as well. But let me show you an example. I picked this out of somebody's course. This is actually an English instructor. You can see on my screen, it's really small. I can't hardly read the print, but she greets the class, welcomes them, gives her name, then talks about what they'll be learning. In this particular case, it's explore new children's and young adult books. And then she invites them to go explore the class site, and then to check out the syllabus, go to that first lesson, and then she also gives her email address. But what's really cool is that she's also included her welcome video here. So this is just an example. I mean, you know, you can set it up any way you want to, but this is just one example of someone who has done kind of all of it. Okay. Oh, hi, Vicki. How are you? Okay, and you've not had the opportunity to set up a web. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Actually, in January, we're going to have some special lab time set aside for you guys if you want to come in and record a welcome video or just record some videos for your class or whatever. So first part of January, I think, they're going to have an open lab for that. So that'd be a good time to do that. All right. What else do we need in our course? Well, we need to make sure that faculty page is ready because guess what? Your students want to know more about you. In an online environment, having the faculty page there really does help to build rapport with students. You wouldn't think that it would, but this is a place for them to get to know you. So you want to have a picture of yourself in there. You have your name, your email address. If you have office hours, let's say you have an office on campus and you know, you have a dedicated office hour, or we do have some faculty who are starting to offer office hours on Collaborate, using the Collaborate like we're doing right now. They'll pick out 1 hour each week and just open up a Collaborate session. Students can join if they want to. It's a good time to, you know, just discuss what's going on in class, that kind of stuff. If you don't want to do that whole thing, make sure that you give them an opportunity to make, you know, to be available to them, like, you know, through a phone call or something like that. You also want to put your educational background and professional experience and credentials in there. Students, believe it or not, they look for that. They like to see that their teachers are, you know, they have the education and professional experience. Kind of gives you guys credibility, gives us credibility as teachers. And then if you feel comfortable with it, if you want to share any hobbies or interests, I've done that quite a bit. Just, you know, just saying, hey, I like to run, or I like to go canoeing, outside hiking, photography, and you'll find that some students will connect with you that way because they have similar hobbies. And again, that's just another way to build rapport with your students. So we'll need to have our syllabus updated and ready to go by the time the course opens. Have that course schedule ready, have your faculty page ready, and then, oh, well, here's an example of one. I threw an example of one. I made this one up because I didn't want to put somebody's contact information out there, so I made up a guy, Mr. Fred Jones. He teaches a business course that we don't offer. But anyway, like I said, it's kind of hard to read. I'll have this recording for you, and hopefully it'll come out a little bit better than this. But it just says, welcome. I look forward to meeting you. He gives his educational background, and then some of his what students can expect of him about grading and returning phone calls and all that kind of stuff. And then just a warm welcome. And then you notice he has all of his contact information in there and everything. So just an example of a faculty page. We do have faculty who choose not to put anything out there on their faculty page, and then don't really, you know, get in and interact with the students a whole lot. But I think if we do all these things, it's really going to help us with student success, with retention, and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, students like to put a name with a face, so anytime that we can put ourselves out there like that, they enjoy that. Okay. I think this is like, at the minimum, OTC would like you to have your first lesson ready. I always encourage faculty not to dive right in and give a bunch of assignments in that first lesson. I mean, we could say read chapters 1 through 3, complete 2 discussion postings, do a 500-word essay. We could do those things, but I think it's important for this first lesson to be a chance for students who, you know, maybe it's their first online class, maybe they're not comfortable with technology, things like that. This first lesson should be like introducing them to your course, getting them back in the syllabus. We have faculty who will do like a syllabus quiz or a web quest or something like that. So you want to direct them to the syllabus. Create an introductory forum in the discussions where you introduce yourself, even though you've got it on your faculty page. Maybe they won't read that, so introduce yourself. Be the first one out there posting. Encourage students to interact with each other and with you through an introduction and icebreaker. These are just good ways for students get to know each other, for them to get to know you, and there's some interaction that's going on in that first discussion forum. And then I like to encourage faculty to create an engaging activity based on your content area just to get the students hooked. Make it fun if you can. If you teach a math class, I don't know. I'm not a math person, really. I have a science background, so I do have a math background as well, but I don't know. I guess you can make math fun, but you want to just create some kind of an engaging activity to kind of get them hooked, get them interested in moving on and going through at least the rest of your lesson or moving on to the second lesson. So, at a minimum, again, be sure to have that syllabus ready, course schedule, the faculty page ready, your welcome announcement ready, and that first lesson. Okay, so those are just the 5 things that on day 1, when the students get in your course, that stuff is there. That will help them be more successful in that first week of class. Okay, but what are some other things that we can do? Okay, those other things I gave you, that's what OTC says, having your class ready to go. But what are some other things you can do to help students as well? Well, if you don't have these are a couple of the newer items that that are required in online courses now. One of them is to, in your course menu to the left, to put a proctoring button or link and a need help proctoring link or need help link. And I've got both of the URLs here. I can send those to you again if you don't have them, but there should be a place for students to go in your course menu, click the proctoring button, and bring up the proctoring information page. Tell them about proctoring, where to get the forms, and all that kind of good stuff. Then the need help button is just where do they go for disability services, Blackboard tutorials, contact information for student services and financial aid, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so while we're on the subject of links, do you guys go through and check the links that are in your course? I'm just curious. You can say yes or no. Because here's the deal. Sometimes when we copy courses over, those links will break. Or perhaps we've linked to an external website, like to an article or YouTube video, and those have been taken down. So where we think those links are operational in our course, they may not be. So, so yes, I'm going to ask, do you guys check your links before you start your course? I'll let you tell me.
I do, and throughout the semester.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, because sometimes you can put in a link at the beginning of the semester, and it's no good by the time you get to week 8 or something like that. So, okay, Vicki says I always check my links. Oh yeah, no kidding. I always hate that. I've taken a lot of online courses myself, and there's nothing worse and nothing more frustrating than a link. And our students, like I said, so many of them have got so many other things going on in their lives that if they can't access a link, they're going to forget about it. And if it's something important and related to your assignments, yikes, that's a scary thought. So it's good to check those every once in a while. All right, what else? Oh, well, let's talk about proctoring a little bit more. As you probably know, they've broken the, they've kind of done away with the proctoring in the final week of the course. And so depending on the content area you teach in, you may have proctoring taking place at different times during the semester. So my recommendation to you is to make sure that you've decided which activity will be proctored. Right up front, and then communicate that to your students as soon as possible. Just because if you are like in that second block, you know, that kind of comes up kind of fast, or even the first block, that kind of comes up kind of fast. And so, yeah, students need to know, like business. Rita, you're business, right? You teach
Yes,
business
I am.
courses? Yeah. So you guys have that first block, don't you? But the thing we want you to just keep in mind is that you know, your students typically are used to having their finals proctored, and it's not that way anymore for most of us. It's going to happen earlier in the semester, so have that activity decided on so that you are ready to go, and then communicate to students as soon as you possibly can, especially if they have to get proctoring forms in. All right.
Does it need to be a test specifically?
No. Oh, no, 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 no. Let me go back here. Let me go back to this proctoring. What is the purpose of, what do you guys believe to be the purpose of proctoring? What is the purpose of proctoring?
To make sure the person in the class is really the person taking the test.
Absolutely.
Thought it was as
Student
well.
identification. Go ahead, Rita.
I think that
Yeah, it is for student identification verification. Some of our content areas, such as math, they do all of their tests are proctored, and part of that is just an academic integrity thing. But the bottom line is proctoring is to identify the students in your class. And so, okay, you came up with an assignment rather than an exam.
an example of something. You give me an example of something other than a test, because mine comes in the second week of class, and that's kind of difficult to give them a test in the second week of class that's really effective. So what else could I use as a proctored item?
Yeah, we have had people do like a little short essay assignment that they can do in Blackboard. It could be a quiz, because some faculty do quizzes every week, so it could be a quiz. It could be just about any assignment that you have in your class, and you just say, this is a proctored assignment, and then they would go to the library or ProctorU or whatever the case may be, and just do that assignment. It's just for identification purposes, so you know, it really probably doesn't matter what kind of activity it is. So Rita, I think some of your courses are done on Connect, right?
All of mine have a Connect component, but I transfer and do my proctored event in Blackboard so they can use the ProctorU. They can't use ProctorU if I keep it in Connect, so I rekey it into Blackboard.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, you would, if for whatever block you're in, if you're in the first block, definitely you'd want to just have something they can do in Blackboard. And just about anything really. I'd not like discussions, but some kind of an assignment
Right.
would suffice for this event. So, but if you need more ideas, we can talk about that a little bit later. So, okay, alrighty. A banner. Banners are really cool for one thing, because I'm a visual learner and I like to see pictures and things like that, but a banner serves another purpose in your course, and that is, let's say that you have a student who's taking 2, 3, 4 online courses, and if they didn't have banners in them, it kind of makes it difficult sometimes for students to really kind of identify the course that they're in. Banners just kind of help students know, kind of keep track of where they're at, you know, as they're working through the different courses. So, you know, it's not required, but it does add a visual component to the course, and it does help students, I think, help identify the course that they're in. I know they can click that link and they know they might be going to an American government class or a math class or biology class or something like that, but it helps them differentiate as they're moving between courses to do assignments. And they're really easy to create. We actually have a PowerPoint template that we can send you. It's really easy. You just open up the template and then create your banner and then upload it in your course. Simple. It takes about 5 minutes. So, all right. Any questions up to this point? Okay. Alrighty then. Another thing we like to suggest before your course opens is to include a checklist. And a checklist is a little thing inside each of your lessons or modules that really, again, this is just another, just like your course schedule that you post out there with the syllabus or whatever, this is just at the lesson level. Okay, and as students are working through the lessons, and sometimes we've got a lot of content in there, lectures, all sorts of videos and whatnot, and students, you know, they might be going, I have no idea what to do and when. Okay, but if we have a little checklist inside each lesson, it shows the assignments, the due date, if you want to put points possible in there, then, you know, it's there for them. It's right there in front of them. They can see it. They can better manage their time. So checklists are not required, but very highly recommended. So definitely want to, you know, include a checklist in every lesson. You can set it up in a table form. You can do it in as a bulleted list if you don't want to create a table. If you don't know how to do all that, we're here to help. We'll be glad to help with that. And it's just, again, another way to help students be more successful in our classes. And let's see, Vicki, yes, I can send you the PowerPoint template after this is all over. Well, it'll actually be tomorrow morning because it's actually on my work computer. But I'll be glad to send you that template. I'll do it first thing. All right.
Can you send it to me as well, please? Thanks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll make note of that.
Me too.
Yay, I can do that too. All right. Yay. Yeah, I could create banners all day long. This template's really, it's fun to do, and you can change up the design. Oh, it's fun. You'll like it. All right. Okay, so what else? What other things do we need to possibly have in our course before it opens, or at least right after it opens? And one of the things that I'm always pushing, and if you sit in my PD sessions for very long, you hear me say it over and over again, is to post your objectives and outcomes. Do your students know what they'll be learning each week? Because here's the deal. I've been in a lot of courses where all you see is read chapter 1 through 3, do 2 discussion postings, and here's your assignment. And there's nothing there that tells the students why they're learning it. Why, you know, if I'm a student, I don't see an objective for the lesson. I'm thinking, what am I doing? What's this mean? You know, okay. So, and we have a lot of adult learners, and adult learners are like that. They need to have a purpose and a meaning for their learning. And so this is where your objectives and outcomes will come in handy. And then your activities and assignments should tie into your course objectives. Let me show you what that looks like. This is from a sociology class. And if you look at the bottom part of this, it says, and you will work on the following course objectives. This instructor is bringing in the course objectives down there for this particular lesson. And then if you go up to the top, I would call those possibly, she called them lesson objectives. I would say they're possibly the lesson outcomes. But this is where she says, this is what you're going to do to learn these course objectives. And she does this for each one of her lessons. It's at the very top of the page, so it's the first thing that the students see when they click into her lesson. They see those objectives, they know what they're going to be learning for the week and what they'll be doing, what activities they'll be doing to learn that. So my suggestion, my recommendation is if you don't include lesson objectives, I would really recommend that you do that. Just simply because it gives your students a sense of purpose and direction for the lesson. They know what they're going to, they know why they're learning it, why it's important, and then you can follow in with all of your activities. Okay? Do you guys do objectives in your courses? Hopefully. If not, you can, you don't have to tell me, but hopefully you do. All right. Important stuff. Okay. One of the things we see too in courses when they're just getting started is sometimes instructors, I don't know, I guess maybe they get in a hurry to get their course up and running. So they write little short instructions like the one on the left. This is an actual one. Write a 500-word essay on the effects of the Civil War on children. And this was just an item. This instructor had created an item and had just thrown that in there. If I'm a student and I see that, I'm thinking, okay, well, all right, I can write a 500-word essay, but hello, where am I going to post it? What am I going to do with it? How many points is it worth? Okay, all that kind of good stuff. So if you look to the right, this set of instructions is a little bit more clear and concise in a Word document, and then write the 500-word essay. Be sure to follow APA guidelines, check for spelling and grammar, click the link above to upload and submit the assignment. It's worth 50 points and it's due on whatever date. So you can see that there's a difference in both of these sets of instructions. And the more clearly and concisely we can give those instructions to our students, it's going to save us a lot of time in the end, because if they don't know where to submit it, like the one on the left, they're going to be emailing us or posting in the Q&A forum. And we're going to spend a lot of time answering questions that we wouldn't really necessarily need to if we'd just written out a little bit more instructions. You got to think that, in a seated classroom, we just rattle that stuff off, to students. In an online class, yeah, it does take a little bit more writing up front, but it's just important for student success. But for you guys, for us as faculty, it's our time is important. Our time is precious, and if we can avoid having to answer a lot of questions just by making our instructions more clear, it's worth it. It's worth it. So another thing to kind of be looking for before your course opens. Okay, and then do you provide a variety of lesson activities? If you use publisher content, some of their stuff is really good. We like to see things happening in Blackboard as well. But here's what I see a lot when I get into a course. Again, and I've said this will be the third time I've said this, I see reading chapters in the text and viewing a publisher PowerPoint. Okay, and that is the extent of the lesson activities. Then the students are given an assignment to do. So what other things can we do? I mean, our students might be like that guy in the picture, snoozing, because he just got through watching a, 35-slide PowerPoint presentation, okay, and then read 3 chapters of the text. Yeah. What are some things to do to better engage our students? What are some activities that they can do maybe instead of the PowerPoint presentation, or to supplement a lecture? There's a lot of activities. I think I've done this in another professional development session. I'll run some more of those in the spring if you're interested, on activities you can do in your classroom to kind of, go outside that box of just reading the chapter and looking at the PowerPoints. And I think and I'm thinking back to the time when I was a student. I didn't read the chapter anyway. Quite frankly, I would skip to the summary section and kind of scan through that. But if we're thinking our students are going to read 1, 2, 3 chapters each week, no, honestly, I really don't think that's going to happen. So what can we do if we know they're not going to read the text? And when I create a lesson, I always think, okay, they're not going to read the text. If there's important stuff in the text, create an activity using the text instead of having them read it, for example. So I always think in the back of my mind, they're not going to read it, so how am I going to get my information to them? And it could be a PowerPoint, it could be a verbal lecture, it could be a video lecture, it could be, some activities that we do in class. Okay, but I always assume that they're probably not going to read the text. And so for me to get my objectives into their little minds, I'm going to have to do some other things in the class. Okay, and that's where some of these other activities and assignments come into play. So if you want some ideas, let me know. I think I've got a handout that I can send on just some activities you can do to kind of liven up the course a little bit. Okay, all right, and then finally, it's my recommendation to all instructors to plan out all your lessons and have all your content created before the course opens. Believe it or not, there are some instructors who create things as they go. In fact, they will put in that first lesson, and that is the only thing that they're going to have in their course is that first lesson. And they will spend hours each week creating content and putting it in the course. And when we're spending time creating content each week, it's taking time away from our participation with students. Like, we could be spending time in the discussion forums having, some great conversations about the topics. But if we're stuck having to put together assignments, video tutorials, whatever the case may be, and that's taking time away from providing feedback, interacting with students and things like that. So my recommendation, if at all possible, is to get that course set up so it's ready on day one. And so your only focus then is to interact with those students. And because honestly, when they're interacting with you and they're seeing some great feedback for their assignments and things like that, they are going to be more successful, they're going to be more engaged in the course, and you'll find that you'll have less drops that way. So that's my final recommendation for including things in the course. And Vicki, I will be glad to send, and whomever else wants it, I will be glad to send those activity suggestions as well as the banner template. So I think, is this the last slide? Let me look. Oh, yes. Anyway, that's it. I knew it was going to be a short session because, this
Thanks.
is
I'd like them too.
Would you? Okay, awesome. I can do that. Yeah, just kind of a short session, just to think about some things. Oh, go ahead. Okay. Just to think of some, just to give you some ideas and some things to think about for getting your course ready. Another thing I probably didn't mention, I didn't mention this to the first group, but I just thought about it just now, is to make sure Grade Center is set up okay. If you do weighted grades, or you need to reorganize your columns, or whatever you need to do in Grade Center, get that set up. Or Retention Center. Retention Center is a good tool to use, kind of keep up with your students, especially with last date of attendance and all that kind of good stuff. That's kind of a Blackboard support type of topic. They run through those a lot for PD sessions. But anyway, if you want any more suggestions, and I think I'll go ahead and send out all these extra little handouts and stuff to you guys. But if you want to know how to use any of the functions in Blackboard or anything, just let us know, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help you. We want you guys to be successful, because when you're successful, your students will be successful, and it's kind of it's a good thing all the way around. So let me see here. Okay. Yeah, it helps you as an instructor stay up with grading and discussion posts. Yeah, Vicki, I agree. Yeah, definitely. you know, wow, I try, and it doesn't always happen every semester, but I try to get my course set up all the way through. Then I don't have to worry about it, each week, and I can spend time with students. So, okay, well, that's all I have. If you guys have questions, I'll be glad to answer those. I will send that email out tomorrow with all those goody tools and stuff like that. And I really appreciate, this is like the first time I've offered evening sessions for 2 or 3 times, and nobody's shown up. And so I'm really excited and really glad you guys could join me this evening. And that's all I have. But I hope you have a good evening and a good rest of the semester with finals week and all that coming up. So, yeah. So if you have any questions, let me know, and
So when,
have a good evening.
do you know when they'll actually be available, our courses will be out there to start working on?
Oh, you know what? I saw a calendar today, but I can't remember what it is. Let me go ahead and give that to you tomorrow, too, if that's okay. I can give you those dates. Okay, dates that courses will be available. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. Well, thanks a lot. And yeah, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.